This morning I was reading the epistle reading for the day, and a word really popped out at me. It's the word hostility. Maybe it's because of all the hostility that I feel in our country right now. Maybe it's the government shutdown, the longest government shutdown in our history. Maybe it's something that I myself wrestle with at times. Maybe you do too. It's toxic. It's toxic for our own spirits. It's toxic for our relationships. So how do we get beyond it? Paul writes, "For he himself is our peace, who has made the two one and has destroyed the barrier, the dividing wall of hostility." In this case, he's talking about the hostility between Jew and Gentile and the lengths to which God was willing to go to help them cross that barrier. And what he was willing to do is to set aside, and the language is very strong in the Greek, to abolish, even destroy the dividing wall, which happened to be the Jewish law. That's pretty extreme. And Jesus did that on the cross, providing a way for a new kind of covenant going forward, and a way for us to have a basis for our forgiving each other for past hurts. In the body of Christ, we can struggle with hostility, and this is a place where we want to learn and to model a different way for ourselves and for the world. So how do we do that? Well, one of the things Paul makes clear is that we need to remember who we are to each other. We're brothers and sisters. And not only that, we're a part of one body, the body of Christ. The Bible speaks of marriage as two people becoming one flesh. And we too are now one flesh. We're one body. In fact, we're the body of Jesus himself. So we need to remember who we are to each other. But how do we get beyond that hostility? Where do we go with that hostility? I'm reminded of something that Henry Nouwen, a well-known writer of the 20th century, said about hostility. He encouraged us to move from hostility to hospitality. And I like that movement. I like that word. And so let's take the example of ideas, whether it be political ideas or an idea that someone shares in a conversation or at a meeting. We might feel an initial sort of negativity or hostility. And then to move towards hospitality. To use a word I used in last Sunday's sermon, to be curious. To say, okay, I'm really going to hear this. I'm going to let this in. I'm going to see if there's something here that I can learn for myself, something I can take going forward as we consider an idea for the group, to find something that can be added to the pool of meaning so that we can go forward together. So to move from hostility to hospitality. I think it can apply to our personalities. We grate on each other. I'm absolutely certain that my personality grates on many of you at times. What do we do with that? Again, to move from hostility to hospitality. When we're hospitable, when we're gracious, it's much more likely that other person is going to gradually change. And it's probably going to be gradual. We want them to change right now. But it's in the context of a hospitable, gracious, non-judgmental environment that I know I myself am most likely to grow and to change. And then finally, it occurs to me that we can apply the same movement towards those hurts in our lives. Such painful experiences that make us feel hostile towards another human being. To actually put some space around that hurt, that wound, to be hospitable toward it. And to see it as an opportunity for us to grow and to learn. It's a part of our story now. It's never not going to be a part of our story. Why not be hospitable toward it and learn from it? Well, I don't know if any of this is helpful. Maybe just a simple idea of moving from hostility to hospitality might be helpful to you. Maybe you can think of a situation in your life right now where that's something you might want to try. May God be with you and bless you.